What's it like for you
Good.
just emotionally there, Robert, waiting for all of this? How you doing?
Well, I just got off the phone with my daughter Haley in Winnipeg. She's 19, and well, I'd first like to say good morning to all the listeners out there. Um, I am right now. For those who are tuned in on radio, you won't see this, but on the your YouTube link, you should be able to see. I'm overlooking Kingston, the city right now. And it's a very ominous feeling because, there's a fear of what is to come. It's a very slow moving hurricane. Um, right now, there's random gust of winds, as you can probably see on the camera. But it's a very fearful feeling. As a nation, Jamaica is not ready for this in terms of our agriculture, our tourism, which is the lifeblood of our country. Uh, it's concerning, but we're a resilient people and we're here. We've done the best we can in terms of preparation, securing all our possessions, business, personal. So we're here.
Thank you for taking the camera around. You're quite right. What you're showing us is overlooking Kingston and then out there into the water, the ocean, and the trees starting to bend just as those gusts of winds come up and down. Robert, you talked about preparations. You're in the west. This is the farming part of Jamaica. First, before I
Um,
ask you what the bigger impact could be if it gets bad, but how have you
yeah,
prepared? Can you turn around and show us the house? Like, have you shuttered up the windows, or what have you been doing there?
yeah. So we have a balcony right here. Um, Up there. So we've removed everything from on that balcony and we've boarded it up with two by fours and plywood. Um, for the most part, we have just secured. I mean, everything is to really lock it down. That is really the weak spot, which is the balcony.
Got it.
That's where typically we've had problems before with Gilbert, going back as far as Gilbert in, I believe it was 88 or 89.
Yeah.
Uh,
So let's talk about that because Category 4 hasn't made landfall where you are in 174 years. Gilbert, as bad as it was a Category 3, and it was 1988. Last year, 2024, was Beryl, and it was lower. Um, how nervous are you if this is going to come at this force about what it will mean for Jamaica? Let's talk about the economy and the farmland now.
well, yeah, it's gonna be intense. We've just had the incumbent party, the JLP, return to leadership in terms of the country. So hopefully they will have a handle on responses and would have had the foresight to make the necessary preparations. Everything coming out of the media says that, as a country, we're getting ready as best as we can. Um, just one correction: we are more on the eastern side of the country. The western side is near Negril, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth. That is where the core of the eye is going to really be passing. I am on the eastern side of the country, the more eastern side. So where Kingston and St. Andrew is more to the east.
I mixed up my directions. Um,
That's fine. That's
yeah,
fine.
you
Yeah.
you talked about your teenage daughter here. You have two teenagers actually here at home. Um, what
Yes. I
what's
have
what's
my son Chase.
what's this like for your family, Robert? That you're there with this storm approaching.
Well, they've never really been through a hurricane. So I think what they're seeing is from TikTok and they're learning it. Um, I think that for the most part, the 15-year-old, he thinks there's probably going to be a day off from school, a lot of rain. And for the 19-year-old, I think she's doing her research as to what this means for the country. There's possibility that we're certainly going to lose a lot of our community.
I think Robert's feed is just frozen. We'll just wait a second because sometimes with these links it comes back up. If it does, you guys, I'm just talking to my control room peeps here. If it does, Abby Corey, we can just put him back on. Maybe if he loses the visual, the audio will come back on and we can continue talking to Robert. And if not, we can certainly touch base with him later in the morning as we have connected with Robert Collins. He is a Winnipegger, but he is in Jamaica. He's in St. Andrew, Jamaica, and my mistake, east side of the country. And we're just talking to him about how he's affected. Now, Robert, you're back with us here. You're there caring for your mother and a sick sister, I understand. So
Yes.
what's the possibility you may have to be evacuated? How concerned are you about that, especially given that, you have people that are ill?
Yeah. It's very concerning, very worrying. My sister, she had a brain aneurysm, and that was followed by a series of strokes. So she certainly has been impacted by that. We're doing the best that we can. She's a very resilient person. If you know my sister, she is somebody that rises to the occasion on every step of the way. My mom also, she's in her 80s, late 80s, and she believes in hard work. So this for them is another obstacle that life has brought, and we're going to get through it. That's the philosophy that the family has, and that's what we're going to stay positive to that.
I love
the
that.
hurricane hasn't hit us completely yet where we are. So, where there's hope, there's possibility.
I think that's a good way to end our conversation, with that hope. If we may, we'll check in with you a little bit later, and sending all the good vibes your way as this thing gets closer to Jamaica. Thank you very much for being with us, Robert.
All right, Winnipeg. See you soon.
See you soon. We'll talk to you later in the day.